What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis, including money, investing, the stock market, the fourth stimulus package update, and stimulus check update. Happy 4th of July. Let me know what you're doing here for the 4th of July. Are you doing anything special? Are you just hanging out with us? I'll have a couple special guests here for you guys later on here in this video. And are you cooking out, doing anything special here for 4th of July? And yeah, 4th of July is already off to a crazy start here today. Check this out. In the state of Illinois, the 4th of July Day parade erupts into chaos after multiple people shot. Police are reportedly patrolling the parade area with rifles. Yeah, and this apparently was a big one. This happened here just a few hours ago. Yeah, you can see here multiple people are feared dead after a reported shooting at a 4th of July parade in Highland Park, Illinois on Monday. Witnesses said crowds fled the sound of gunfire, and others saw at least 5 people lying on the ground under blankets. Yeah. This comes as gun rights and gun legislation are a big topic here today. This also comes as another major headline in the news right now is in Akron, Ohio, making national news. A police shooting renews questions about officer training as a traffic stop where the young man fled the scene led to him being shot 60 times or being shot at 60 times here. And it's leading to a lot of questions, to say the least here. But there are some extenuating circumstances because there was a shot from his car that was fired during the vehicle's pursuit out the driver's side window, my wife says. So one would assume that it was fired at the officers. So, when someone fires a gun at you, you would think that they're it's a pretty extenuating circumstance. Although authorities said that he left his gun behind and exited his car to flee on foot, officers don't know that. All they know is that he shot at them. They feared the suspect was preparing to shoot when they fired their weapons at him. So, there's a lot of controversy over this because they shot at him or shot him, dozens of times as he was running away. But you also got to look at it from the officer's point of view, is that he shot at them while, from the car, then fled, and all they know is he had a gun and then fled. Look at it from the officer's point of view. They know he has a gun and he was shooting at them at least once. So, yeah. But the officers were all put on paid leave, so they're all under investigation. It's a tough situation because if you're an officer, you don't exactly want to just chase after somebody who had or has a gun. It's a tough situation. If they don't have a gun, you can chase somebody, tackle them, go with a car, and then put them in the back of your car. But if they have a gun and shot it at you, that's a different story, because now your life is definitely at risk, and you know that they shot it already. Let me know your thoughts here in the comments. This is as guns are a really big issue right now. I mean, one of the biggest issues right now We have that. We have women's choice right now. We have the abortion, which is just struck down, and multiple different states are passing or have already passed laws to make it illegal in their states. So we've got a lot of things that are really hot issues right now, and people are just not even sure what is really legal and illegal right now at this point for a lot of states. It's just for some states it's confusing even for a lot of people. Also today here, Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon, the founder of Amazon, is in the news for slamming the White House for calling on gas stations or really not gas stations per se, not the individual owners, but major gas companies, BP, Shell, Exxon, the gas conglomerates, to cut prices. Remember, Jeff Bezos is worth hundreds of billions of dollars, $200 billion. Okay, so he's another one here who's come under scrutiny because Amazon did not pay taxes for multiple years. And I'll show you this headline here back from 2019, back when former President Donald Trump was president. Amazon paid no federal taxes on $11.2 billion in profits last year, back in 2018. This is just because of how the tax code is written. So large corporations are able to get away with paying no federal taxes, a lot of years because of just the way the tax code is written. Okay, you can see here their profits and the amount of taxes they pay in this orange line because they're just able to get away with it. Amazon from 2009 to 2018 paid an effective federal tax rate of 3%. 3% on profits totaling $26.5 billion. So yeah, they're just laughing their way to the bank, and meanwhile criticizing the government. Now remember, this was during former President Donald Trump's um, term, and he lowered corporate taxes. Okay, so yeah, so now Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, slams the White House for calling on gas stations to cut their prices, basically sticking up for the oil industry now, uh, be, as they're laughing their way to the bank. Jeff Bezos is sparring with the White House over the cause of high gas prices, with the world's second richest person expressing opposition to a tweet from President Joe Biden that called on fuel companies to cut prices. Bezos took issue with a July 2nd tweet from President Biden that told the companies running gas stations and setting prices at the pump to bring down the price you are charging at the pump to reflect the cost you're paying for the product, and do it now. Responding to Biden's message, Bezos, the founder of Amazon, took aim at the president's, or Amazon.com, took aim at the president's blaming corporations. Bezos tweeted, "Ouch, inflation is far too important a problem for the White House to keep making statements like this." Bezos tweeted, "It's either straight ahead misdirection or a deep misunderstanding of basic market dynamics." All right. Meanwhile, White House press secretary, the new White House press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, responded with a tweet saying oil prices have dropped by about $15 over the past month. This is oil prices per barrel. But prices at the pump have barely come down. In fact, diesel prices have only come down like 4 cents. That's not basic market dynamics. It's a market that is failing the American consumer. Yeah, and this has come as, oil prices are dropping, but gas prices are not dropping. And they're really charging us about gas prices higher than all-time highs, but oil is only around, $105, $110 a barrel, but they're charging us gas prices as if oil is $160 a barrel. Yeah, so this is why, Jeff Bezos, the second largest, richest man in America, sticking up for oil companies as they're raking in hundreds of billions of dollars as well. Isn't that ironic, right? Yeah. So let me know your thoughts here on that. Meanwhile, on the other side of the coin, there's a billionaire Mark Cuban from Shark Tank. I think he's a pretty cool guy. Sometimes he's a little rough on the entrepreneurs on Shark Tank, but that's just because he's a straight shooter. But you can see here, yeah, billionaire investor slash entrepreneur Mark Cuban hopes to turn the prescription drug industry upside down with his low cost online pharmacy. And here's what he has to say about lowering prescription drug costs himself for millions of Americans. Check this out.
Joining me now is Mark Cuban, the co-founder of Cost Plus Drug Company. Mark, it's a pleasure to have you here today. Give us some background on the genesis of this idea. I did read that you started working on it after receiving a cold email pitch about 3 years ago. Is that right?
Correct. Actually, it's going on forward. Dr. Alex Osmayansky, who's a radiologist by trade, but just a really smart guy, had started a compounding pharmacy in Colorado with the hopes of reducing the costs for specialty drugs. Because often, even with generics, when there isn't a large demand for a drug, prices skyrocket because it's difficult to make and expensive to make. And so he wanted to limit it to a few drugs. And I was like, no, let's apply this to all generics and eventually all brands. And let's do it in a manner that makes it easy for patients to trust. So let's make it radically transparent and affordable. And so we created costplusdrugs.com. And the underpinning of it is we will show you our costs. We'll tell you exactly what we pay. We mark it up 15% on all of our drugs. We charge a $3 pharmacy handling fee. And then there's the shipping fee of $5. That's it. And so if you go to costplusdrugs.com and look up the medication that you take, there's a really good chance we're going to save you a ton of money.
Mark, I do have to ask, was the fact that there's been congressional inaction, did that factor in any way into the internal calculations you had to be able to launch this business?
No, it didn't when we started, Katie, but it does now, certainly, because, it's obvious what people are trying to get accomplished, right? Whether it's insulin or other drugs. And it's no mystery that the pricing for drugs right now is insane. And so we recognize that we can't expect government all of a sudden to come up with solutions to something they haven't been able to solve for decades. And so we feel that we can, either working independently or working with the federal government, come up with better solutions.
Mark, do you feel like the fact that there has been this complete and total stalemate to be able to move forward on something as critically important for Americans as access to medicine, do you think that's indicative in some way of the fact that the economy is actually trending towards being not so kind and not so gentle towards the people that are living here in the United States?
This is a problem that's been going on for, as I said, decades, and it really required someone outside the system to come up with a solution. As an entrepreneur, I try to find, industries that are doing it the same way and are opaque and are ripe for disruption. And the reality is, by doing the radical transparency that we are at costplusdrugs.com and really simplifying it as just cost plus 15%, that's the ultimate solution, because it had to be done outside the system. The government really has to work within its constituencies, right? And the pharmaceutical companies, the insurance companies, the pharmacies, they're part of their constituencies. And so they're going to have to get feedback from them. We don't have to do any of those things. We can just come up with the approach and create a business that can price drugs, astronomically lower than what they're being priced at from other sources.
Earlier this year, though, as you mentioned, the fact that there are people like constituents that perhaps are driving some of the calculus, 193 House Republicans voted against capping the price of insulin, for example. While that bill ultimately passed in the House, it still needs to attract at least 10 GOP votes in the Senate before it can be signed into law. What kind of message would you like to send to the Republicans who voted against that bill?
None. Honestly, just give us time. I can't make any promises on insulin. We're working on it. It may happen, it may not happen, but I think there is a free market solution. And I see part of the problem, Katie, is when the government sets caps for industries that are as big as the pharmaceutical industry and the payer industries, you may get them to lower their price on using insulin as an example to $35 per month. But they're just going to charge you somewhere else and make it up somewhere else. So your prices are going up to compensate for that. They're not going to lower their profits. And so when you try to work within the existing system, you're not going to get the results that you expect. What we're trying to do, and again, I don't know if we'll be able to do insulin, we'll try, is we're going to be transparent. And we actually benefit the manufacturers when they work with us because that transparency makes their jobs easier. And right now they're demonized and we take away that demonization. And so like you've seen with the generic drugs that we've been working with, we're going to do the same thing with branded drugs as well. And we'll be starting that shortly. And so I think give us some time. Hopefully we can get insulin, but we'll certainly get into other branded drugs and we'll be able to push the cost down considerably.
Can you quickly explain to our viewers how pharmacy benefit managers or PBMs work and how your company sidesteps them to become an effective disruptor in this industry?
Sure. I don't know if it's quick and easy to explain pharmacy benefit managers, but effectively they're middlemen that take a cut of everything. Sure. And so they get some money from the manufacturer. They say, if you want this insurance company to carry your drug, you're going to have to pay us in order to be on what's called their formulary. And the manufacturers then have to do that if they want to be carried. And so that's a problem. So manufacturers say we have no choice but to pay these rebates to the pharmacy benefit managers. That obviously increases the price to patients. We say, look, we're not going to work with pharmacy benefit managers. In fact, we'll create our own and we'll completely eliminate the middlemen and be able to sell it to you at our cost, whatever that is, plus 15%. Now, the better part of that is as our volumes go up and more people use costplusdrugs.com, our pricing goes down and we completely pass on that lower cost to our patients. And so you've seen us announce cost reductions every few weeks, and we'll have another one in the middle of July.
Mark, you mentioned a few minutes ago that you're an entrepreneur. Let's be frank, you're a shark. We know you wouldn't get into anything unless it made total business sense for you. You talk about the fact that it's a specific markup, that you don't actually spend any money on marketing. This is all word of mouth referral in terms of being able to promote what's going on with your company. Is this a profitable venture for you, or are you okay to maybe take a loss on the margins to disrupt this broken system?
I'm getting crushed right now. This would not go well on Shark Tank. No, I'm losing a lot of money right now, and that's okay. Look, I'm one of the luckiest guys in the world. My next dollar is not going to change my life. And so while it's cost me a lot of money now, our goal truly is to make it up as we grow so that we can be profitable and we can reinvest in other drugs. If we get to enough scale, maybe, we're already building a manufacturing plant in Dallas that will allow us to make injectable drugs so that, there's a whole list of injectables that are difficult to source and are very expensive as a result. We'll be able to push those down considerably and sell them to hospitals who can then hopefully stick to our pricing mechanisms and reduce their pricing to their patients. And so having those profits allows us to reinvest. And look, I get the whole thing that, it doesn't feel good when people make profits off of other people's illnesses. I get that. But the reality is, there's always going to be new drugs. There's always going to be, new medicine, new technologies, whatever it may be. And the only way we're going to be able to invest in those is by being at least marginally profitable. And we're, a public benefit corporation. My goal is not to go out there and make as much money as I possibly can. We don't take investors for the simple reason that I don't want to have any obligation to paying dividends or other rewards to new investors. And so we really, again, we're doing this for the right reasons. We are making a profit. I'm not ashamed that we're going to make a profit, but we're really going to invest that in a way that allows us to be more effective and more efficient than what the government probably can do.
Well, on behalf of countless Americans, I am grateful. And I say thank you for having the vision to be able to launch this company. And your secret will be safe with me. Maybe I'll steal Mr. Wonderful from Kevin O'Leary, our mutual friend, and I'll give you that moniker for what you're doing. Thank you, Mark Cuban, for being here today.
Thanks for having me on, Katie. Thank you.
Yeah, so if you want to check out Mark Cuban's website, it's costplusdrugs.com. You could see all the medicine that they sell. And like lisinopril, you can get for $3.60, just as an example. And they have a list of all the medicines that they sell, all the prescriptions that they sell. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, maybe in the future. But well, yeah, I actually heard that they don't pay anything like that. But you can see a list of all the medications that they have here. Um, but I don't believe they work with insurance companies. That's one of the ways they save money. But the thing is that what they say is a lot of times that they're just so cheap. A lot of times it's cheaper than your copay. But again, if you have very expensive medicine or any medications or anything like that, it might be worth checking out. Costplusdrugs.com. Just because they're just very, very inexpensive for generic versions here. Yeah, and there's a whole list of a lot of stuff that they cover here. I mean, look at this. It's crazy. You can go right on their website and see all these things, right? There's a lot. Yeah, and this little floof wants to say Happy 4th of July. Maybe I can't even say little floof anymore. Look, show them how big you are. Yeah, show them how big you are now. Look. This is baby Snowy, who is no longer a baby, who is now just eating this out of house and home. But really, a lot of it's fur. He is just yeah, he's got a lot of fur. He's like a polar bear here, like a little baby polar bear. Yeah, he's definitely a cutie. Yeah, what do you have to say? Do you have anything to say? Yeah, he's a cutie. He's watching the chipmunks out the window, I think. Do you see any chipmunks? Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a fabulous 4th of July. I will see you guys in the next video. You can click here to watch my newest stimulus check video. And you can click here to see what 58% of Americans are included in now. Wow. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.